Hey, how's your day going? Say, theme parks are really popular this time of year. So, have you ever heard of something called Action Park? If not, have a seat. This is going to get crazy. You know how in all those kids' cartoons based off Batman, Joker always shacks up in some kind of weird amusement park that's also simultaneously dangerous for any realistic person to live in? How would you react if I told you that this was a real life equivalent to that park? Our story begins in 1978 in New Jersey. There once was a strange man named Eugene Mulheville. I'd describe Eugene Mulheville as a rather strange man who makes Mr. Burns almost look cuddly. He saw health and safety guidelines as either unneeded government overreach or vague suggestions depending on what mood he was in. One day, Eugene decides to open up Action Park as a way of attracting money, but this park gained notoriety due to its poorly designed and maintained equipment and lax enforcement of safety rules. As a result, it resulted in multiple bizarre injuries for the guests. First off, to name some of these bizarre, mishandled decisions, Action Park heavily promoted their looping waterslide in its commercials as a special attraction of the park. However, many guests were injured by the ride or did not have enough momentum to pass through the loop. Next, the speedboat and bumper boat rides were held in small ponds that were known to be infested with dangerous snakes. Next, they accidentally made the wave pool so powerful that up to 30 people would require a rescue in a single weekend. And the super go-karts had vehicles that had a maximum speed of 20 miles per hour thanks to the governor devices. However, the staff knew that wedging tennis balls into the devices would disable them, allowing them to go up to speeds of 50 miles per hour, and they were willing to do so if and only if the guests demanded it. They also had an alpine slide with sleds, and these sleds only had two speeds, slow as molasses and overly fast. Oh, and if you think that's bad, the staff were also callous towards emergencies, and they view you the same way Bugs Bunny views Daffy Duck. So if you're there and you get into any kind of accident, they're going to not care or find it hilarious. Oh, and if you can somehow get past the indifference towards the safety rules, recklessness on part of the visitors, poor design or lack of maintenance on the rides themselves, there's also the fact that almost none of the park's employees spoke Spanish, even though the park was running ads on Spanish language radios and television stations in New York. And these injuries got so bad to the point where the park had to buy nearby hospitals extra ambulances, and it was just because that many people were injured. And the reason why there was so much OSHA violations wasn't because the park didn't try to advocate safety, but the owner's philosophy was that guests should feel in control of their experience and decide for themselves what they could handle. He encouraged guests to be as rowdy as they wished and got them all injured in this way. Employees were also reportedly offered $100 in bills to test all the infamous equipment. And despite the guests sustaining countless injuries that were both minor and serious, owner Gene Mulheville never faced any serious legal repercussions. This was because Action Park brought a long influx of cash to the local economy in the summer, as nearby ski resorts bought the cash in for the winter. What finally got him brought down was all the bad press and word of mouth. His investors start distancing themselves from him, and after his two business changes in the ski resort dried up, he was forced to shut down Action Park in 1996. Weirdly enough, this park's reputation lives on. Many of the people who didn't realize that the park was dangerous often used it as a rite of passage, and some of them said,
It kind of makes me feel sad, but I wonder if kids today have that feeling of, man, let's go prove our backbone.
please don't be like these people and be safe out there. Okay, bye!